Hello and welcome once again to the Windy City's finest On Location with Mac and Perry. He's Mac, I'm Perry, and this is
Jordan Bouchard.
Yes, thank you so much for taking the time to meet with us. I'm super excited to jump into some icebreaker games with you and just get to know you a bit better. And I think the first ones we have are very on-location themed. So I have some questions for you and you have some questions for me.
Yep.
I'll go first.
All right.
So it's multiple choice. So the oldest historic building in Medicine Hat is A, the Ewart-Duggan House, 1880. Oh, I won't read the dates. B, Brown Durand Residence. C, Canadian Pacific Railway Station. Or D, the Cecil Hotel.
Oh, the Ewan Duggan House?
Yeah, you got it. That's
I
the
knew
one.
it.
Yeah, nice. What's your question for me?
Okay. Mac's cousin used to work at which Medicine Hat organization? A, Medicine Hat Musical Theater. B, the Esplanade Heritage Center. C, Trek Space. Or D, Medelta.
Ooh, this is a good question. What do I know about Mac's family? Oh my gosh. What were the last two options again?
C, Trek Space. D, Medelta.
Ooh, I'm gonna go with Trek Space. And I'm not sure why, but is that the right answer?
No, it's not.
What is it? What is
It's
it?
the Esplanade Arts Center.
Esplanade Arts Center. I should have known that. Okay, I gotta do my homework on Mac's fam.
Mm-hmm.
So this is just this or that. I'll let you do the honors, pick one out, read it out, and we'll just talk about it and see where we both land on it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Flowers or chocolates?
Ooh, flowers or chocolates? I would actually have to go with flowers. I think my mom loves plants, and her dad used to own a flower shop, and so they've always kind of been there. But I think they're easy to forget about sometimes. But I think because of that, I'm reminded of them quite a bit. So I would go with flowers.
Nice. Well, I can't argue with anything you said about flowers, but I would just instinctively get chocolate.
Yeah,
Because I'm a beast.
That's fair. That's fair. Has that always been a thing? Always having chocolate? Or what?
I love chocolate.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I've got a soft spot for chocolate.
Nice.
Yep.
Nice. Okay. See what we got next here. Wow. Oh, this is a longer one. Ask forgiveness or permission.
Forgiveness.
Yeah. Just go for it
Every time.
Have you always been like that?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I'm a bad decision maker that way.
Right on. I think for myself, forgiveness or permission. It's interesting because I feel like I would probably ask permission most times. I don't know. I don't know why or whatnot, but I would probably usually ask permission. I like to plan things.
Yeah.
And like prepare.
Yeah.
And I feel like usually just asking, clarifying things is usually the way to go. So
Well, it certainly is the way to go.
Yeah. Right on. Yeah.
I wouldn't argue that either. Dress up or casual?
Ooh.
That's a tough one.
I think I'd probably go casual. Just
Me too.
Yeah.
But I like dressing up once in a while. But for sure.
Yeah. Just casual.
Yep.
Working in the shop.
This is it.
Yeah. Nice. I used to work at like a men's clothing store, so like suits and everything. So I have to dress up for that.
Yeah.
And I think ever since then it kind of ruined it for me.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. That makes sense.
Casual clothing.
And I was like a field, out in the field doing field stuff. So it was always a novel thing. You get to get dressed up once in a while. So.
Yeah. We'll move swiftly along to our Tumbling Towers game here. So each block corresponds to a question. And just to recap, you'll take a block out and then you'll put it on the top. And you're not supposed to go for the top 3 layers.
Okay.
And I will let you do the honors.
All right.
No pressure, but it hasn't fallen yet. Nice. What number?
16.
16. Who is someone who inspires you?
Somebody that inspires me. My wife.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you had to give like 1 or 2 like reasons as to why, characteristics.
She's such a hard worker. She never stops working. And she's just laser focused. And I admire those qualities about her. Yeah, she's the hardest worker I know. She never stops. And I don't even get it.
Fair enough. And what's your wife's name?
Lindsay.
Lindsay, shout out to Lindsay. Yeah, great, nice. I think for myself, someone who inspires me, I think if I can cheat a little bit, it would be my parents.
For sure.
Just because, they took the initiative. We immigrated to Canada. They moved us here. That's like not a small feat. So
where did you guys immigrate from?
England, Birmingham.
Perfect.
Yeah. Have you heard of it?
I have. My brother-in-law's from London.
Oh, okay, right on. Yeah. Nice.
Born and raised.
Nice. I guess I should.
It's your turn.
Take my turn. If either Mac or I were the ones to make it fall, I think that would be.
No, it hasn't happened yet.
It hasn't happened yet.
Wow.
I know.
That's
we got to
weird.
make it harder.
Jenga's hard. So.
Yeah. We got 43. So before I put it on there, what's a quality you aspire to? I guess we could do one of Lindsay's qualities, but a different one. You have to go with a different one.
Oh, organization.
Organization.
I am not organized, and I see people that are organized, and I'm like, that is a very valuable trait to have.
Right.
Especially when you don't have it.
I see this one here. It looks kind of sketchy, but
it is.
Okay. 27. What's a book you couldn't put down?
Audiobook, does that count?
Yeah, of course.
I used to drive a lot, and I listened to audiobooks, and I was listening to The Odyssey, and I couldn't wait to get back in the truck so I could start the story.
Yeah.
It was just giant, huge epic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm noticing a theme there. Epic songs, epic
Yeah,
stories.
maybe. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
I think they're going to be remade. They're going to be making that. I think Nolan, maybe.
Yeah. It's in. I think it should be in theaters soon.
Okay.
But I don't know how they could do that possibly.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Will you go see it? Do you think?
Oh, yeah.
Just to see. Yeah. Right on.
Yeah.
Nice. Well, I think that's all the time we have for our first segment here.
Okay.
So thank you so much. It's been wonderful getting to know you.
Fun.
And I'm super excited to hear a little bit more about your artistic practice with Mac here in the next segment. But yeah, this has been the Windy City's Finest on Location with Mac and Perry. He's Mac, I'm Perry, and this has been
Jordan Bouchard.
We'll be right back.
Welcome to the Windy City's Finest on Location with Mac and Perry. I'm Mac. He's Perry, and this is
Jordan Bouchard.
Yeah, well, thanks for coming back. We had a little break there, and yeah, I got to know you a bit with Perry. It was very fun. Learned lots. He's not a good listener, but that's fine. It's okay. Yeah, and I guess I'm really excited to just learn about your art and your artistic practice and your journey as an artist. So I think it's pretty obvious looking around what you do, but tell me what your art is.
My art is found objects, scrap metal, sculpture. I try to concentrate on characters. I don't necessarily do robots, but I tend to do robots. It's my favorite subject matter. I have the funnest experiences doing characters. It's developing characters drives the process a lot because I really can't wait to meet these characters at the end. So yeah, it's metal sculpture. It's recycled. It's one of a kind. They're all interesting. I've never done the same one twice, and it's always really kind of an impromptu thing. I don't plan them ahead. I work with what I have. So it's always fun. It's always spontaneous. Yeah, and it's very rewarding. Mm-hmm. Very rewarding.
Yeah, I can imagine. It really looks like you put a lot into it. Tell me more about these like characters. Like, do you have kind of an idea of what it's going to be when you start, or?
Typically, no. I start with a part or a piece that inspires me, that is a spark, and I just basically freestyle through the whole thing. It's very. I always start with the face. That's a rule I have in the process, that it just happens. Once I see a face, then I know who I'm dealing with, and it seems to snowball from that point. I kind of sometimes I kind of float, not knowing what I'm doing until I come up with a face, and then I have a personality to riff off of, and then it just seems to go after that.
And that idea of like these found objects interests me as well, because everything is a found piece, right?
I've never bought a single bolt. I've never purchased a single screw, not one.
Yeah. And so what drew you to using like recycled pieces versus new?
It just seemed smarter. It seemed more responsible. It seemed, and it's half of the process, as I found out, that finding these oddball pieces, or this, I don't know what this thing is, I've never seen this thing before, it sparked a challenge. Like, what is this? I don't know what it is. I love the way it looks, so I'm going to use it. And that's why this stuff looks the way it does. I just had a lot of success with it. I found it pleasing. I found it, I think a lot of people found the idea of it clever. And I think that's a fun part too, that it's clever use of derelict things that aren't supposed to be used like this. And I'm so happy it is used like this. And it's got a sense of humor, a lot of it, I think, I hope. And that's, and all these pieces, a lot of these pieces I've never seen before. A lot of these pieces are really recognizable, and people, respond to these, the vacuum cleaners and the mailboxes, and it's just, people respond well, and we're all having a fun time doing it. So
yeah, what sort of responses do you get from people?
I get joyous responses. I get really, some of the greatest conversations I've ever had are people that are almost as excited as I am about this robot. And it's such a cool, personal way to connect to people, because this is from my brain, and and to have somebody validate that is just, well, you guys know, it's one of the most special things I've ever experienced. So yeah, I've gotten nothing but support from. I don't think I've ever had a single bad conversation about Rustbots. It's just contrary to what they are. If you don't like them, we're probably not having a conversation about them. But I've had hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of, world-class conversations with people that are just genuinely being nice and supporting me and encouraging me. So.
Do you remember what it was like when you first started putting your work out there for people to see, or?
It was really scary.
Yeah.
I did it all. I just dumped it. I did it in this shop for years without showing anybody, and I accumulated a pile of it. And somebody convinced me to do a sale, and so I did a sale downtown at the Beverage, and it was an overwhelming success. And it was a great day. It was just beyond words. I was so happy to be well received. Again, it was a lot of validation, a lot of tire pumping. It was just rewarding. So yeah.
And how long ago was that?
Oh, maybe I want to say 8 years ago, something like that.
That's nice.
Yeah, and I've been pretty prolific for the last 8 years, 6-8 years doing it. It's been my spare time for the most part. I'm a husband and father, but over and above that, if I had any spare time on my hands, I was doing robots.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you find there's like phases where maybe you're just like more inspired, or?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
There's times when I'm just stuck, or I don't have any parts. There's always a big thing for me. New parts, spur me. They inspire me. If I've got a truckload of brand new parts, well, I'll probably be busy for a week, just staring at them. But there'll be weeks at a time where I'm adulting. I'm husbanding. I'm fathering. I'm working, and these guys got to wait. But they're always in the back of my mind. They are a constant in my life, by design.
And these pieces are obviously welded. When did you start welding?
I think it was 2013. I was going into business for myself, and I got a quote for some welding because I had a whole bunch of equipment that I had to have built, and I got a quote, and it blew my mind. It was not within the budget, so I had to figure something out. So I bought a welder, and I thought, okay, you're gonna have to teach yourself how to weld, like right now. So I did, and I figured it out, and I got the equipment built, and then I went to work, and I had this welder kind of burning a hole in my pocket in the shop, and eventually I got some free time, and I thought, I'm gonna try something for fun, because I welded straight for a couple months, and I was tired of it by then. I didn't, so I came back and I just putzed around, and I made a little character. And I thought, wow, that was kind of fun. So I tried it again, and I tried it again, and tried it again, and it didn't take long before I was getting really happy with the results, and I was having fun doing it the whole time. And it didn't take long before I kind of developed the style. Yeah, it just went from there.
And then you mentioned was it that some of your friends or someone you knew said you should sell these? That kind of is how you started to put them out in the world a bit more?
Yeah. I got encouragement from just everybody. Everybody I knew was encouraging me and supporting me, and I just thought, well, yeah, I'll give it a shot. You think if maybe somebody will want them, and my first batch of offerings was a huge success. Well, relative to small town Alberta, but yeah, I walked away feeling very, very rewarded, and yeah, I was pumped. I had a good day.
I bet. Yeah. I know we'll actually see more of the pieces. We can talk more about them, but maybe just tell me about the last piece you made. Tell me about it.
The last piece I made was Bam Bam, and he was somebody dropped off an old, I bet it was 80-year-old mailbox, and it was just a mailbox, and I started with that, and I made a really cool punk rock thug character. Love him to death. Bam Bam is his name.
If it was something made of wood, maybe it wouldn't last as long. These old metal pieces, they have more history. I don't know.
Well, yeah, and that's a big thing with me too. I love the history. The older the artifact I'm using, I've cut some beautiful antiques out.
Yeah. Go to the antique store. I'll take that one. And,
I try not to go to the antique store, but I've cut up some beautiful steel that I should have just left alone.
Yeah. That's interesting. Yeah, because that expression, right? The better to wear out than rust out.
Yes.
Right? Yeah, you're actually making use of stuff instead of letting it rust.
Oh, absolutely.
Kind of, yeah. Yeah, but that's interesting because I joke about antiques, but yeah, that's interesting because it's like something I don't quite understand about antiquing. We have not interviewed an antiquer, but just that to just have something just sit there and just not be used. Yeah. Whatever it is, to me, it seems like you should be using that thing. And
absolutely.
Yeah, and you're in your own way, you're using it as an art piece, not just.
I think so. Shelf, I don't go out of my way to collect beautiful things, but I do appreciate old things, and they don't necessarily have to be pretty, but they have to be aesthetically pleasing for for what I'm using them for. I do like old rust. I do like something that's pitted and something that's been around. It's so important. If it looks like it's lived a life, if it's been, you know, washed by the wind and sandblasted and painted 1,000 times, like that's what I'm looking for. Like that's had lived a whole life. And if you can put those pieces together in cohesive thing that's got character and has been around for 500 years, that's
Right, that's pretty cool. Yeah,
I think so.
Yeah, it's almost like all those pieces have kind of a story to them, right? Or history.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. And they're just, yeah. You can. I try very hard not to sand away the patina, or I make a conscious effort almost all the time to keep the paint on. And you know, well, I love the paint chips and the burns and the you know, the wear holes and the, you know, all that stuff that gives it grit, soul, right? So
Absolutely, yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Are there any kind of like challenges you come up against when you're working on these pieces?
Well, there's always incompatible materials. That's a thing. Some really beautiful parts don't want to be welded. So there's that technical, you know, I've got my heart set on this going here, and then it's not going to weld nice. So then I've got to figure out a hack, or I've got to figure out some other way to bolt it, screw it, and it always works out because they look hobbled. You know, in a lot of cases, they look repaired. I don't mind going a little off. I don't mind getting in the ditches once in a while if it's for a good cause, if it makes it look unique, right?
Yeah.
So
yeah, like you said, it's that certain aesthetic you're going for, and it's just part of who you are too. Yeah. If it was technically perfect, it wouldn't be as interesting.
Well, that's the thing. I've never done anything technically perfect.
Yeah. That's okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
To me, there's maybe a sense of just humanness to it too, even though these are machines, right?
That's right.
That a person made this thing. Right?
That's right. That's right. Yeah. And not just, you know, and it makes them unique. I think if I spent too much time making them technically, you know, perfect, they'd lack in character, right?
So. Yeah. I guess just one final question we try to always ask people is, even though you kind of alluded to it, but I guess, how has your artistic practice, making this metal art, how has that changed you as a person?
It's just liberated me. It's liberated me. It's shown me who I am. It's allowed me to express myself in such a personal way, and have that validated again. It's made me really appreciate my common man, you know, my fellow man. It gives me faith with people in my community and people that I've corresponded with on social media or whatever. I've talked to thousands of people about art, my art and their art. It's just opened me up to a lot of joy.
Absolutely, yeah. Well, I think that's lovely,
Isn't it?
Yeah. Well, it's been a great conversation, Jordan. Thanks so much for chatting with me.
It's my pleasure.
Yeah, so this is all the time we have for this segment. This is the Windy City's Finest On Location with Mac and Perry. I'm Mac, he's Perry, and this is
Jordan Bouchard.
We'll be right back.
Hello, and welcome once again to the Windy City's Finest On Location with Mac and Perry. He's Mac, I'm Perry, and this is
Jordan Bouchard.
Yes, thank you. It was fascinating hearing your conversation with Mac in the last segment. And I'm really excited to get to know your characters a little bit more in depth, and just a bit of the stories behind them more specifically. And I feel like let's just start right back here with this guy. some things that I picked up on with my listening skills were starting with the face sometimes, or that the
Yes.
face has a lot of meaning for you. And then, does this guy have a name, or does this not have a name yet?
This is unnamed. This character is unnamed. But you're right. This was a prime example of starting with the face.
Yeah.
I saw a cat-ish kind of character. I found this old vacuum cleaner. It was amongst my pile of rubble. I immediately identified it as a chest.
Yeah.
And this character's just started coming together. This character's particularly far out. This is one of my more bizarre creations, and I love him just because of it. Yeah, he's a galactic mail delivery man. He ticks all of my boxes as far as creativity character goes. He's got a presence. He's a beautiful size. I like his stance, and he's just an interesting thing to look at. This piece in particular is just it catches my eye, it catches my imagination. It makes me wonder where this character's been, where he's going, what he's doing. This is a prime example of just letting your imagination be weird.
Absolutely, yeah. And then another thing I really love is just like, I think it's this idea of like collage and not knowing necessarily where one piece starts or stops. Not knowing like where the end of one piece was, and how you've kind of been able to kind of just like collage them together in a way where like even the shoulders, like it's such an interesting like intersection in the body, right?
Well,
like,
and it's fun. It's a fun predicament. It's a fun situation when I get to a joint or an intersection or two pieces intersecting. And that's the art of it. That's the sport of it. That's the fun of it. That's the challenge. How do I do this and make it look aesthetically proper, pleasing, or fun, or inventive, or creative? And every single intersection, you get to have that experience. So and they're all different, and you approach a shoulder differently this time than you would that time,
right?
And it's never the same. It's never the same.
And I'm curious, is there a bit of like instant gratification in that for you? Because like
there's a lot of instant gratification.
As soon as you can get to the next intersection of like body parts, it's like, is that kind of something that keeps you going?
Totally. Every successful intersection is a small victory, and you just keep chasing small victories. And I know that, this section is going to be a challenge, and I'm thinking about it, and I'm planning it, and I'm celebrating it when it's done.
Amazing.
I'm
super curious about, was it Bam Bam?
Bam Bam.
Bam Bam, who I believe is on the side over here. Again, let's start with posture. Do you remember, did you start with posture, or did you start with face with Bam Bam?
I started Bam Bam's face. And I played with the parts and the pieces until I knew what I had. Yes, he was definitely built. His head was built first. I found the character in his face. And then I remember I had that mailbox that makes up his torso. I said, okay, well, I messed around with the mailbox and found out that the top flipped up and made a perfect collar. So that happened.
Wow.
It was very satisfying. It was one of those fun. It was one of those exhilarating things that I chase when I'm doing this. I collect a lot of stuff. I collect a lot of parts and pieces. And when you find a part that works like that in that situation,
Yeah.
it's just another happy accident.
Yeah.
And it just and after 150 happy accidents, you have Bam Bam.
It's still just as special though each time because it's a different piece.
Exactly, and
different,
that's what energizes me. That's why I laugh to myself in my shop in the middle of the night because it's happened again.
Yeah.
So,
I'm curious. Are there any that you are set on keeping for yourself, or you let go of all of them?
I do.
Is that the goal?
I do I spend so much time with them, and I've come to the realization that they're sculptures. They're better shared.
Yeah.
As much as I love them, nobody in the world has had 200 of these things except me. So why not share them?
Yeah.
I get more joy sharing them than hoarding them.
Yeah.
I've had some great ones, and I love spending time with all of them. If I didn't want to spend time with them, they wouldn't exist.
Right.
But I know I'm going to spend time with another 200 of them.
Right.
And I'm going to love them just as much. So get over it. Let somebody else have it.
Yeah. I love that. I love that. I do want to get to the one that's behind you there, just because you had mentioned something about the posture of it that was new for you. Yeah. What can you tell me about that piece?
I can tell you he is he's a free faller. He's a free diver.
Yeah.
The story with Gunnar is this is how Gunnar and the boys get into a tight spot.
Right.
And which implies that he's some sort of special forces badass.
Yeah.
His posture, I've never done a posture like that. He's suspended on the wall, so he's got a different presentation than before. He looks particularly nice, lit.
Right.
He's just he's a bit of a different presentation, and I just really love the idea.
I do think that's all the time we have for this segment. So thank you so much for sharing some more specific insights on these wonderful pieces of yours. That is all the time we have. So this has been the Windy City's finest On Location with Mac and Perry. He's Mac, I'm Perry, and this has been
Jordan Bouchard.
And Gunnar and Bam Bam and Untitled and Untitled.
It's Mac and Perry in the place. Da-na-na-na. Mac and Perry
Go live to create.
Da-na-na-na. Mac and Perry invite you to stay.